It's time for another closer look at a key Kentucky Derby contender. And here's your host, Magic.
What is up, boys and girls? Jared Welch, RacingDudes.com. The Kentucky Derby trail is almost over. The major ones are done. It's a wrap. We pretty much know the exact picture, other than the defections, of who's in, who's out, kind of what, we're shaking through this thing. So what better, let's do a top 5. All the guys at RacingDudes.com are doing these videos in terms of how we think this top 5 is shaking out. And honestly, last weekend with the Bluegrass and the San Antonio Derby especially, the Wood, if you want to throw that one in there in terms of maybe, knocking out Mo Donegal or putting Mo Donegal in or whatever, I feel more confident after that last weekend, my top 5. And I feel like there's a good separator between my 5 and 6, and I really think there's a good separator between my 4 and my 3. I think there's 3, maybe probably 2 horses that I do feel really confident that can win this thing. And we have finally gotten to a point, and with one really late edition of kind of tearing this out with the top horses. I feel like, and so the more this thing goes, obviously with post positions and workouts, and horses, hopefully horses don't get injured that are in this top 5, but as it stands right now, we'll kick off the top 5 here with number 5, Zandon, the Bluegrass winner. Listen, if you listen to Blinkers Off, you've been listening to me. I've been a little bit on the fence with this horse. Not a little bit. I've been a lot on the fence, and I picked against him in the Bluegrass. I picked Emmanuel. I picked Smile Happy. I picked Emmanuel. Then I picked Zandon. I just thought he needed to prove it. I said, what has he done? He's done it. He was awesome in the Bluegrass. I mean, listen, he's making the right progressions heading into the biggest race, which is the Kentucky Derby. This horse, second the rims in 2 Mo Donegal. Of course, won the Wood earlier on Saturday. Risen Star, after that a little bit of a long layoff there, runs okay. Of course, the Risen Star, Epicenter, not a bad beat. Then another little bit of layoff. Boom, comes in the Bluegrass and just has to weave through traffic. And I mean, he was much the best. He really was. And Pratt aboard, and Pratt's going to ride in the Derby. I mean, that shot him up the list from, that was, to me, a big difference. We get Pratt aboard because you're going to get a good ride. And I really think he can be more tactical than he needs, that he will need to be in the Kentucky Derby, whereas he's not in the Bluegrass. He was way out of it, and of course that's not something that will help you most of the time win the Kentucky Derby. But I think he can be more tactical. We saw that with Country House when Pratt jumped aboard him a few years ago. He is, to me, he's the horse in the 5 spot that could win this thing. If he continues to make the jumps. My problem with Zandon, I'm afraid his value is not going to be there. It seems like this horse is getting a ton of buzz. He's going to get a lot of buzz. Chad Brown looking for that win in the Derby. He's going to get a lot of buzz because of how impressive that Bluegrass performance was. I'm afraid your value there is not going to be there, but my 5 horse, Zandon. Number 4, White Abarrio. He was my pick for the Florida Derby. And he was just too good. He is doing this the right way. Another horse is doing it the right way going into that first Saturday in May. He's 4 for 4 at Gulfstream Park. His 1 loss coming to the Jockey Club, where he finished 3rd as a 2-year-old. But this horse seems to be doing the right things at the right time. Winning the Holy Bull, that was impressive. Backed that up with a very impressive effort, kind of needing to come off of it a little bit. He's got that tactical speed, tactical ability that you're going to need in the Kentucky Derby. I contemplated flipping Zandon and White Abarrio in the 4 and 5 spots because I do maybe feel like I know more, or feel more confident in what White Abarrio is versus what Zandon could be. So that's the thing. But as far as the talent level right now of what we've seen, White Abarrio jumped in the 4 spot because he has been that impressive and very consistently impressive. You gotta love what he did in the Florida Derby. He beat Simplification. He beat Charge It, who kind of a late run there. He beat horses that are going to get some hype. With Charge It being one, Simplification's been good all year, but White Bar is beating them and doing it the right way, winning impressively. So my fear with him, can he win? Saffie Joseph winning the Kentucky Derby is a little bit surprising to me, would be surprising to me, and leaving Gulfstream, that's the concern. So I think the talent is there. I'm afraid that maybe he's not quite good enough to jump into that top tier in order to win. He most likely will not be on any of my win tickets, but he will be used all over, underneath and all over the tickets and multi-race wagers, of course, as well, because he is one of the top horses in this Kentucky Derby. Number 3, Messier. I'm still on the Messier wagon. I honestly, nothing really deterred me after that Santa Anita Derby. I thought we would see a big performance from him in that race, and we did. He just got beat by a horse that we'll talk about here in one of these last 2 picks, right, in Taiba. But Messier is a horse that everyone, myself included, he's been the horse. He's been the one horse for me all year. Epicenter did jump him when Epicenter, of course, won Louisiana Derby, but I put that on hold, said, okay, let's see what Messier does. Santa Anita Derby, if he wins like I think he will, he'll move that to the 1 spot. There's my Derby winner. Forget for a second that Taiba's in the race, the super freak horse that we'll get to. Messier wins the Santa Anita Derby by 10 lengths, and we're sitting here talking about this amazing performance. He probably gets a 101 buyer or something, 102 buyer, whatever it comes back as, you never know. And we're like, oh my gosh, this horse just rolled in the Santa Anita Derby. He did it under wraps, and he dominated the Robert B. Lewis the exact same way. Like, he's dangerous. And then let's not forget, losing Forbidden Kingdom. He's not going to run the Kentucky Derby. Classic Causeway, not running the Kentucky Derby. Messier's probably going to fall in this lead. And, you ever heard of a Baffert horse going to the lead in the Kentucky Derby and winning? Yeah, he's dangerous for that standpoint alone. And I think the fact that he did lose the Santa Anita Derby might deter some people. You might get a little bit better price. Think Medina Spirit. I get it. He was DQ'd after the fact, but he lost the Santa Anita Derby to a freak performance in Rock Your World. And, people kind of thought, well, he's just not quite good enough. Well, he went to the lead in the Kentucky Derby and he won. To me, Messier is in the top tier. So these next 3, Messier, 3rd spot, I think he can win this race. And these are the horses that I will be using on my win tickets on the win side, because I just think the talent, I think he's going to get better in his next race. We talk about this, and we're going to talk about that again with the next Yaffert horse, but 3rd start, right? After that Los Al, takes a little break, Robert B. Lewis, boom, Santa Anita Derby, boom, 3rd start, Kentucky Derby. I think Messier is very dangerous. Number 2, this one feels a little dirty, Epicenter. He really did nothing to deserve the 2 spot other than a freak performance happening on the last big weekend. But Epicenter has been awesome, really all year long. You can kind of scratch out the Lecomte, got beat kind of by a weird result there, but the last 2, the Risen Star, and then of course Louisiana Derby. Louisiana Derby was one of those races that you just watched and kind of expected him to win, but then the way he won it and kind of came off the pace and took some dirt and was inside and kind of came out and just bam, see ya, it was over. He has the style, he has the ability. He's very similar to the next horse I'm going to talk about in terms of he can go to the lead, he can sit off. He's what you want for the Kentucky Derby. There's really no strikes against him, in my opinion, other than the fact that we just don't know how good the horses he's been beaten up on are in Louisiana. That's not typically an area that you see a lot of big time horses coming out of, but at the same time, the winner can sometimes be dangerous, and obviously Epicenter is dangerous, and maybe this is finally it. Maybe he can finally break through. Asmussen and Welch and all those guys can get a big Kentucky Derby win, because he feels like the big horse that could do it. He really is he would have been. I would have had a hard time between Messier and Epicenter had Messier won the Santa Anita Derby, because those 2, they're very, very similar to me in terms of how I think they're going to do in the Kentucky Derby. You got Rosario aboard. He's going to ride Epicenter in the Kentucky Derby. I mean, I think we know that he's going to give this horse a solid ride, and I like Epicenter because he's got the back class. You know, he's got the experience. He's going in the Kentucky Derby the right way. He's got a bunch of races under his belt and a lot of different situations and larger fields and things of that nature. So, I mean, there's really nothing to go against here other than the fact that there happened to be a super freak that ran last weekend. In number 1, Taiba. Probably saw that coming. Taiba. I mean, I just don't know how you don't go Taiba. After what we saw on Saturday, this horse, we don't even know what he is. And he just waxed Messier in the Cincinnati Derby and did it pretty easy, really. Just cruised on by down the stretch. Second lifetime start. This horse didn't even make a start until March 5th. I mean, this horse, it's. I'm not gonna sit here and compare him to Justify because obviously he needs to win a Triple Crown, but I mean, Justify, started, somehow started earlier in the game. He had 2 races under belt before the Cincinnati Derby. There's just what this horse is doing doesn't make any sense. This Gunrunner Cole, which, man, Gunrunner, how awesome is that? He looks like Gunrunner. He runs. I mean, he's just running off the charts, and it's just the way he won the race. Like, if he would have gone gate to wire in the Cincinnati Derby, I think I may have still had Epicenter number 1. And here's why: because you may able to, you can say, well, he got away with an easy pace, and and Forbidden Kingdom folded or whatever the case may be, and just kind of Messier wasn't cranked up, but the way he won it, considering on his debut, he just blazed. Ran like a 45-second opening, and then just would gate to wire, just showed the motor the whole way. This time he raced. This time he's off the bridle on the backstretch, and it looks like he's like just kind of just cruising. Then when Mike Smith asked him to go, he went. And he chased down Messier, who, like I mentioned earlier, won by 10 lengths. He beat the third place horse by 10 lengths, and I get it. Garbage underneath. But like I said, we would all been just oohing and ahhing about how good Messier was if Taiba was in the race. He won by 10. He dominated again. Taiba just cruised by him. So you gotta just, to me, I just visually, I can't get past how good this horse is and how good this horse could be. Again, third start. It's going to be the Kentucky Derby. He could get better, and he's shown that he can do exactly what he needs to do. He can be on the lead. He can he can get off of it. Because he's so fast, he broke well in the Cincinnati Derby. Because he's so fast, I mean, other than drawing like the 1 spot or something just awful, like, you have to believe he's going to be in a good position, in that first turn of the Kentucky Derby, where all of a sudden, all the large field and all the banging, the horse is going to get banged around and stuff. It's like, that kind of goes out the window. I mean, what happens if Messier's in the lead and there's Epicenter and there's Taiba all right there, right? A link, two links behind. You're going to say, here we go again. I just think the talent's there. I'm worried how long can he keep it together. I mean, what they're asking him to do is nuts. But, I mean, we're here to pick winners, right? And it just seems like he's going into this race as, I don't even think it's close, honestly. As far as the talent level, I think he's just that much better. The one huge stat that I saw that I think is, to me, was just like, wow. In that debut race, he ran the final 1/8 of a mile in like 12 flat, which is nuts. 6 furlongs. In this race, he ran it in like 12.5, 12 something, like, very similar time. At 1.8, the horse stretched out from 6 furlongs to 1.8 and ran his. It's not like he was just like gasping at the end and just got it done. I mean, no, he was cruising. He's Gunrunner. Go longer, it doesn't matter. This horse is just a super freak, and he's gonna be on all my win tickets. He's gonna be my top horse. I'm hoping that Zandon gets bet. I'm hoping he's close to the favorite. I'm hoping Epicenter is, because of all the things I mentioned. He probably deserves to be. Maybe we get like 6-1, 7-1 on Taiba. How awesome would that be? Listen, I cannot speak more about how good this horse is. I think he's the real deal. It's just a matter of him getting it all together, staying healthy, looking good, getting him to the race in good order. If they can do that, they keep him together. Honestly, keep them together. And I find it hard to believe that we're not talking about this horse at the Belmont. Let's put it that way. All right, what you think? Let's hear it. Comments below. Hit subscribe below. Hit like below. All the comments, leave them down there. Let us know. How crazy am I? Who's your top 5? Who in my top 5 are you tossing? Who's a toss to you? We are less than 4 weeks away now. It's all we're thinking about, the entire team. Every piece of content almost going out on the website right now is all about the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks. We cannot wait. Cannot wait for this week. We're working on the guide already. We're getting things ready. We cannot wait to handicap this thing. There's our top 5. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
This has been a presentation of RacingDudes.com, your destination for all things horse racing and sports betting. Whether you want free winners, expert insider picks, up-to-the-minute trackside weather reports, or podcasts and videos for bettors of all skill levels, never make another wager without visiting the Racing Dudes. First,